We're going to be taking a look at Amir Khan, the improvements he's made under Virgil Hunter, and this video is an analysis of the footwork improvement, how Amir has learned how to change levels, how he does basic things like keeping his hands up when he's moving, how he has learned how to pivot and shift, how he knows how to smother and hold now, and how he knows basically how to keep his chin tucked down and behind his shoulder at all times. I think the improvements he's made under Virgil were not very apparent to begin with. And we also take a look at Julio Diaz later on, but you can definitely see the improvements that Amir makes when under pressure and when under attack. When we saw Amir outpowered before, we saw that he used to always try and fight fire with fire. We used to see very silly mistakes from Amir. However, I think a lot of these things have been rectified, and I think Virgil is doing a tremendous job with rectifying Amir's skill level when faced against a pressure fighter who is coming forward and trying to walk Amir down. Hi guys, how are you all? Okay, so I've got two different clips I've got here. One on the left side of Lamont Peterson versus Amir Khan. Lamont Peterson was on steroids, testosterone. He was 15 pounds heavier than the day of the weigh-in, so you're not actually going to get a fighter like this in 140 unless he is on juice. Very strong, very powerful coming forward. And then on the right side we've got Luis Collazo also. Something that I want you guys to take into account also is that Amir Khan has moved to Virgil Hunter, and I want to talk about the improvements that have been made of Amir Khan and if he has made any improvements. Now, on the left side, I want you guys to see that Amir Khan is, first of all, he's moving everywhere. He doesn't really have a sense of ring generalship when he was with Freddie Roach, and I think in addition to that, he didn't know what to do when facing a stronger opponent. When it comes to boxing, and if he is the stronger opponent or the opponent has a similar power to Amir, he knows how to deal with it. But also something else I want you to take into account is that the video on the right was Amir's worst round of the fight against Luis Collazo, and in the Lamont Peterson fight, these were one of the worst rounds. You can see 2 rounds of each fight. Now, if you look at the footwork and the composure of Amir on the right side against Luis Collazo, and how he's smothering his opponent, how he's holding Luis Collazo when he needs to, and keeping his chin tucked away from Luis Collazo, I think that's something very impressive that he didn't have before in his arsenal. Another thing is his changing of levels that he has. Amir before used to fight very straight up and he used to push a lot. Now you can see the change of levels that is allowing him to avoid punches and use his ring generalship against a fighter who is more powerful than him, arguably. In the Lamont Peterson fight, Amir constantly is trying to fight fire with fire, whereas when we look at the Luis Collazo fight, he is smothering a lot more. His ring generalship is far better. He doesn't put himself back up into a corner. And also, you've got to bear in mind that this was probably the only round, I think, where Amir was getting walked down to this extent. But the thing is, Amir knew how to deal with it. I think it happens in boxing where sometimes you have an opponent who is far stronger than you, and I mean Mayweather that's just constantly the situation with Mayweather. But what Mayweather does is he uses his ring generalship, ties you up a lot. He can roll you off. You could be stood right in front of him, and Mayweather knows how to nullify your power. But when we saw that against Maidana was a lot busier and potentially won a lot of rounds that way. As you can see, the point deduction taking place there from Amir for holding so much. I think that smothering and holding, very similar tactics, but if you use the smothering rather than the holding and turning your opponent and just doing little things, you can get away with that, and that's part of boxing and that's tactics. There, you see how Amir was gonna get backed up towards the corner. He turned Luis Collazo and put him against the ropes. These are tactics that he's learned under Virgil Hunter. And I think another important aspect to understand is Amir's sense of footwork. You won't catch Amir that much off balance anymore, and I think that this was a huge issue. Another big issue is as soon as Amir gets hurt, he has to constantly come back with another punch. And he used to throw with his opponent, irrespective of his opponent's punching power. You will never catch Floyd Mayweather throwing a punch and getting counter punched at the same time. Great fighters in history never really did this. That's what separated the good fighters from the great fighters. Um, if you look on the left hand side of the screen now, and I just want you to take a strong look at that, you see how fast Amir is moving and how much energy he's using, and there's a lot of unneeded energy expenditure taking place. And when you don't have a sense of ring generalship, you're going to gas out really quick, your punches are going to become less effective, the power of your punches is going to become less effective, and you're actually going to get walked down. So you see here, Amir knew that he shouldn't be up against the ropes, he shouldn't be getting hit, but he didn't actually know what to do to nullify Lamont Peterson's testosterone power, so to speak. We see in the Louis Kalazov fight, and I think that it's an improvement upon what happened in the Julio Diaz fight, is Amir, when he moves now, he keeps his hands up and moves. If he needs to get out of there, he'll put his hands up, change levels, then move. And also when he does move off the ropes and when he is trying to get in the center of the ring, just a quick one there, right? Can you see his hands? His right hand was not up, and he actually turned into a southpaw position. And what he did there was keep his shoulder there, keep his chin tucked near his shoulder, move his head a little bit back, and was conscious of the punch coming. Whereas before, what would happen is when he moves, when his opponent is tracking him down and being the aggressor, he would just keep his hands low and just move away and try and pull his head back, similar to what Ali used to do. And Ali used to get caught a lot from that, especially when he slowed down as a fighter. But because Ali was so fast as a heavyweight and the other heavyweights were nowhere near as fast, Ali could get away with it. But in the low weight classes, this isn't going to work because there's only so much speed advantage you can have, even though Amir is the fastest at 140 or 147. So as you can see here, hands up tight, and he's not just keeping it in one position. And you've got to remember that this is Amir's probably, these 2 rounds of Amir were the worst rounds of Amir of the entire fight with Louis Kalazov. And you can see a similar old mistake being made there by Amir. But I think with the Devon Alexander fight taking place, I think Amir's improved even more. This holding that he did in this fight against Louis Kalazov, he's learned how to avoid doing that too much. Now watch, you see, instead of going to watch, so you see he's gone there to the corner. Now watch this, hits, punches, boom. Can you see how he used his offense to get back into the center of the ring? Now you see he's getting pushed back to the corner there, moves here. Now watch this, let's see what he does here. Okay, watch. Right, so you can see here he's not running. You see how he's not running? You see how he's just moving, hands up high. Now watch it in the Lamont Peterson fight, right? Let's go back a little bit. Okay, so let's study this now. Let's just study on the Lamont Peterson fight. Okay, so he's getting backed up, right? Holding down low and not really knowing what to do. Very off balance. Okay, standing forward, stationary target. No real movement from in terms of changing your head slots. Nothing like that exists there. Hands low. Terrible defense from Amir initially. Now we see in the Louis Kalazov fight, can you see there how he moved, but he had his shoulder there protecting his chin. I think all these things are significant improvements, and you can really see it. Now, although there is still improvements to make, I think that he has definitely made significant improvements in the Louis Kalazov fight. I think that there will have been improvements that we didn't see. I think in the Devon Alexander fight it was pretty much punch perfect, but I think there's still even now improvements that can be made, and I think Amir is continuously making these improvements. Before we get off, I have to show you an example of the Julio Diaz fight and the Louis Kalazov fight. If you look at the left of the screen, you see Julio Diaz. You can see Amir not holding, continuously moving, and see how his hands are low, and he's totally off balance, and he's getting hit with punches no way should he be getting hit with. He's using footwork, fast footwork, and moving around the ring, but keeping his hands low whilst he's doing it. Now, if you compare the videos of how much his hands are up in the Kalazov fight in comparison to the Diaz fight, and I think that there were improvements in the Diaz fight, but obviously, because if you look at these 2 fights, they're just 1 fight apart. And to me, Kalazov was a better fighter than Julio Diaz, but he wasn't able to put any sort of damage on Amir in comparison to Julio Diaz, nowhere near. Now, if you look at Amir against Julio Diaz, yeah, he's using his real estate a bit better, but he doesn't really know how to hold in comparison to the Louis Kalazov fight. There, you see how he got caught there, constantly getting caught. And I think that it's the way he was changing levels there. He was like coming into the punch. Now, okay, let's just watch this for a bit. Can you see there how his right hand was low, which is the reason that he got knocked out by Danny Garcia as well, but that was in an exchange. But the thing is, Amir was always open for the left hook, which now, watch when he moves now. Can you see how he turned Luis Collazo there, and when he moves, he just keeps his hands up. He just keeps his hands up when he moves. A very basic thing. And can you see there, when after turning Luis Collazo, he's pushed him and got right inside to a point where Luis Collazo can't punch him. And on top of that, his hands were high throughout the whole thing. Can you see how his chin is away from Collazo? These are improvements that I think Amir has made and is continuously making, and I think as he becomes better in style on the Virgil, I think the defensive side of Amir is going to come out. His offensive side, when it comes to boxing, you can't win rounds against this guy. Can you see there how he was totally open to the left hook? And look at these exchanges. Look at that, is crazy. I don't know why a fighter... I don't know, man. I think like it takes a while to adjust with Virgil Hunter. I think that this is macho-ness from Amir. I think it's a good thing because he's got heart, and something you can't teach is heart, and he's got tons of heart. But technically speaking, it's really bad to be doing stuff like that in a fight, just throwing wild exchanges. I think this is getting slowly taken out of Amir now, and I'm definitely very happy with the improvements I'm seeing from him. And I think it's going to be difficult for any fighter to finish him off and even get him down now, because his chin is always tucked in. He knows how to smother, how to hold, and he's learned so much through Virgil, and I think he's continuously learning with this better IQ of ring generalship as well. I think it's going to be very difficult to defeat Amir Khan. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments in the section below. Subscribe as always in a bit.